Good morning. Today we look at Psalm 35 and Psalm 36. And Psalm 35 is another psalm of a prayer request for deliverance from King David. Um, and we see a lot of those, but I mean, how many times, I think about it, a lot of the psalms seem to be prayers for deliverance or, you know, protect me from whatever. But it's similar with our own prayers and our own requests of God. We come with those needs, with those desires, and King David felt that many times. And some of these psalms were written before he was the king, but as well as during time. But contend with those who contend with me. Fight against those who fight against me. Take hold of the shield and buckler. And then so in this psalm is kind of broken into three sections. The first 10 verses, I mean, we have this prayer for deliverance, and then, within that, verse 9 is, then my soul will rejoice, exulting in his deliverance. My bones will say, O Lord, who is like you? Do you deliver the weak? So these first 10 verses is one, just kind of maybe like a stanza in a song. I mean, we would sing one stanza, and then the second one, and then the third one. And this is kind of the way this psalm is written, that there are three requests of deliverance, protection, talking about the wicked. And, like verse 4, just to back up, let them be put to shame and dishonor who seek after my life. Let them be turned back and confounded who devise evil against me. Let them be like chaff before the wind. So it's, David asking for God to intercede and to take care of these evil people, get them out of the way. And then, as I said, verses 9 and 10 are that kind of that song of praise to God and thanksgiving and just acknowledging again that, that God is God and he is Lord of all and protector. And then verse 11 again this, talking about the enemies. It's malicious witnesses rise up. They ask me about things I do not know. They repay my evil for good. My soul is forlorn. But as for me, when they were sick, I wore sackcloth. When they needed help, I did my best to help them. And, I prayed with my head bowed, although I was as though I was grieved. I went about as one who laments for a mother, bowed down and in mourning, and all of these things that David was working on, trying to help on their behalf. And then verse 15, but at my stumbling they gathered in glee, they gathered to torment me. Ruffians, tore at me. But then again, verse 17, how long, O Lord, will you look on me? Rescue me, my life from the savage. Then I will thank you in great congregation, and the mighty will praise you. And so here we have, it was verses 1 through 10 were kind of the first, and then 11 through 18, and now 19 through 28 go through the next. Do not let my treacherous enemies rejoice over me, for they speak not peace, but they conceive deceitful words. They open their mouths with, and then verse 22, you've been silent, O Lord. Where are you? Are you paying attention? Are you really with me? Oh, do not be silent. Oh Lord, do not be far from me. Wake up, wake up, where are you, Lord? It's pay attention. And in some ways it's, maybe we feel a little bit weird, to say to God, wake up, are you listening? But, because we've been taught and hopefully we trust that, God is always there. God is always listening and will always hear our prayer. But wake up, bestir yourself for my defense and my cause, my God. Vindicate me, give me justice, set me free, show these people the error of their ways and that, what they're accusing me of is wrong, and let, verse 26, let all who rejoice at my calamity be put to shame and confusion. And sometimes we rejoice when people get their karma, and when they get what we think they deserve, and stuff that way. But, the reality in so many ways is that, just like he started this one out, or in the previous section as, when my enemies are having trouble, I pray for them. I put on sackcloth. I do my best to help them, but rather than rejoice at their suffering, and because that's what some do. Rather than rejoice at my calamity, let them be put to shame and confusion. And let those who desire my vindication shout for joy and be glad and shout, great is the Lord. So here these last verses again are giving thanks to God for his intervention, for people speaking up, speaking the truth, coming to David's aid, and when someone comes up and speaks on our defense or, gives us support or says to us, good job, those are things that reinforce us. And so David is giving thanks to God for that. And then the last verse, then my tongue shall tell of your righteousness and of your praise all day long. And it's, we speak of God's goodness and of God's mercy. And it's a part of our giving thanks to God for his activity in the world. Psalm 36 is, there's a little bit of David talking about the characteristics of the wicked, and then he talks about, the characteristics of God. And then at the end of it, there's a prayer of protection again, maybe, not vindication or punishment of it, but for David's protection. And it starts out, transgression speaks to the wicked. Deep in their hearts, there is no desire for God before their eyes. They have no desire for God. They have no need, and this is, it's a sad thing, but, so these are, it's kind of the characteristics of the wicked, those who deny God. They flatter themselves in their own eyes that their iniquity cannot be found out and hated. The words of their mouth are mischief and deceit. They have ceased to act wisely and do good. They plot mischief while on their beds. Even when they're sleeping, they plot mischief. And they're set on a way that is not good, and they do not reject evil. So this is David's description or the characteristics of wicked people in his eyes. And then verse 5 and 6 for sure are, talk about the characteristics of God, and going on from 7 and 8 and 9 too, I think we pretty much do, but it's your steadfast love extends to the heaven. Your faithfulness is like the clouds. Your righteousness is like the mighty mountains. Your judgment like the great deeps of the depths of the sea. You save humans and animals alike, O Lord. And so the characteristics of God are, steadfast love, steadfast faithfulness, righteousness, that can't be compared to anything other than total majesty, and there is no bounds and no depth, just lost the word I wanted, but you can't find the extremities of it because it's just so vast. And then verse 7, how precious is your love. All people may take refuge in the shadow of your wings. They feast on the abundance of your house. You give them drink from the river of your delights. And so again, it's extolling God's goodness, God's mercies, pointing out how much abundance there is in God and everything that there is there. And then verse 10, continue your steadfast love to those who know you. Put your salvation in the upright of the heart. Do not let the foot of the arrogant trample on me. So here's that kind of a prayer for protection. Do not let the foot of the arrogant tread on me, or the hand of the wicked drive me away. There are evildoers. There, the evildoers lie prostrate, and they are thrust down, unable to rise. So, hold them down, God. Take them away. Keep them far away from me, so that they can't impact me, so they can't fight against me, so that they just take these rabble rousers out of my life, and people that rise up and try to cause irritations. And aren't we happier when we are in the midst of people that are supportive and encouraging, rather than if you're in a group that's just chronically complaining and looking at the bad side of everything, I mean, pretty quick there we are, same. And so, the prayer is to be surrounded with supportive people, with people who love and are gracious, with people that aren't seeking to do mischief. And, we're a lot better off. We're a lot happier when we have that kind of people in our lives too.